Welcome back to the Imagining 2040 podcast and to our 2026 season of episodes. I'm your host, Andrew Nicholson. This year, we'll be diving into a new round of conversations that use future vision imagination to help us think afresh about some of the most pressing challenges facing Australia and the world. Since our last update in late 2025, the signs have been unmistakable. Rising violence, deepening insecurity and worsening environmental and economic pressures all point to development pathways that are failing far too many people. And yet, despite the instability, despite the fear and fragmentation, there is still abundant evidence that better futures remain open to us. Futures that are fairer, safer, more inclusive and genuinely life-affirming. But they will only emerge if enough of us stand together and demand the flourishing pathways we want to hand on to future generations. That hopeful, progressive message and spirit is what guides us here at Imagining 2040. It's the spirit behind every guest interview you'll hear this year. Our first 3 episodes of 2026 explore a wide sweep of possibilities, how we might replace outdated economic strategies with a well-being-centred economy of care, how we could tackle the housing crisis in Queensland and across Australia, and how a visionary blueprint for democratic renewal could enable everyday citizens to contribute directly to national strategic planning. Across these diverse topics, some clear themes emerge. On the problem definition side, we hear again and again that our current economic settings and traditional forms of representative government are struggling to provide security, leadership and fairness in an era of environmental decline, widening inequality and growing threats to public well-being. But on the solution side, a different message shines through. Many of our guests point to the same powerful idea that we can begin to slow and pacify this whirlpool of interconnected challenges by fundamentally reframing our economies and democratic institutions so they serve the public good and the health of the living world, rather than the narrow interests of a privileged few. And if you revisit our 2025 episodes, I think you'll hear these same themes echoing there too. The recognition that our current pathways of development are unsustainable, and the strong possibility that we could still shift onto flourishing pathways, but only with visionary leadership, deep economic reform, and far greater citizen solidarity and participation in shaping our shared futures. Here at Imagining 2040, we see those reforms as ambitious but essential. They are the counterweight to the vested interests that benefit from the status quo and the destructive trajectory it maintains. And also, for our 2026 series season, we've developed a new logo centred on a visionary human head motif. We think it offers a clearer, more evocative expression of the core ideas that underpin the series. The use of imagination as a civic tool, the interdependence of people and planet, and the possibility of choosing better development pathways. So just to set that out for you, starting on the left side of the logo image, beneath a golden future vision arc, sits a combined sun-planet-nature symbol. It speaks to the urgent environmental task before us, stabilising and adapting to accelerating climate disruption. The tree reminds us that protecting the health of natural places and more than human species is not an optional extra to that task. It is fundamental to solving the climate challenge and restoring ecological balance. The globe within this image cluster is a quiet but firm reminder of climate justice. Climate disruption and nature loss are shared planetary problems, but responsibility is not evenly distributed. Wealthier, high-emitting economies must lead the urgently needed transition to a low-carbon future, given their historical role in creating the crisis. Worryingly, our current global development path is pushing us toward a hotter, more dangerous, more nature-impoverished world. This image cluster reminds us of a key future vision question: what if we could change that development path? At the centre of the Future Vision arc, three human figures represent the need to bring diverse voices and their imaginative solutions into the heart of governance. The podcast series explores how standing citizens' juries and assemblies and community planning processes embedded at all levels of government could help move us beyond today's narrow and often undemocratic forms of representation. Our current governance systems are struggling to meet 21st century challenges. What if we could break that democratic stalemate? And on the far side of the vision arc, the small sphere represents the principles of donut economics, an approach to economic development that balances human well-being with ecological integrity. At its simplest, it embodies the progressive ideal of enough for everyone forever. It imagines a safe and fair operating space where human needs are met without breaching the ecological boundaries that make life on Earth possible. That is not the economic system we have today. So the question becomes, what if we could fundamentally reshape the purpose and outcomes of our economies to put community well-being and the public good at their heart? Taken together, the elements of the logo form a visual reminder of the deeply interconnected environmental, social and economic transformations required to create truly flourishing futures, and of the vital role that public imagination and future visioning can play in making those real. So in closing, let's just set aside despondency and lean into imagination, holism and possibility as we open the 2026 season of Imagining 2040. We hope you enjoy the new interviews, and from here on, we'll be aiming to release one new episode each month throughout the year. I'm Andrew Nicholson, your host. Thanks for joining us, and I look forward to your company in the months ahead.